Level up is gaining enough points to be able to enable a player or a character to go to a higher level. So we are going to level up this and go to the next area of esports.
Yeah, so this is just briefly before we get into the nuts and bolts of running a club, just a little bit of philosophy and about the why of starting an esports program. This is, I've got my source here that you can click on for more information, but I found this awesome 5 pillars that Tau Esports put together for their program. And really, I kind of mentioned this first one, redefining athletic culture. Kids want to be a part of a team. They want to be, and they need to be connected to their school. And so thinking of this as an opportunity to maybe capture some of those students who don't otherwise always get involved in things or don't have a way that they can, shine. An esports program might provide that to them. And that goes along with diversifying opportunities for student participation. Students need to be connected to school one way or another. I mean, there's plenty of research showing that having a connection to school beyond just showing up and going to class every day increases student success in the long term. It's good for their mental health and their physical health to feel like they're a part of a team and they're connected with a group with a common goal. And definitely more and more, there are more STEM and sports and esports related pathways for students going into career in college. And then finally, honoring the importance of play. I mean, there's a reason that so much of ed tech is geared towards gamifying or taking some of those game related aspects and adding them into the educational world and making learning fun. Sometimes we forget that students learn best and learn well when they're playing. And the act of playing a game itself has so many educational components and opportunities for it that these are important pillars, I think, overall to think about as your base for why you would start a program. So a little myth busting, and I won't read through all of this, but basically you may run into some of these roadblocks and some of these myths as you're starting a program, whether it's talking to an administrator and getting them on board with funding it, or if you're an administrator looking for teachers who are going to facilitate the program, you might run into some of this. Selling this to parents and getting parents to sign their kids up. Or even just in general word of mouth, comments you might hear from other teachers, comments you might hear from other students, just kind of being ready for those and knowing how to combat some of those myths. For example, it's not a real sport. We call it esports, but it's not a real sport. Well, if you think about what a real sport involves, it involves generally teams or different sides. It involves competition. It involves sportsmanship, leadership. It involves keeping score. And we can talk all day about the physical aspects of different sports and what sports are more physically competitive than others, but there's a physical and a mental aspect to esports that I think is important. You might also hear, oh, this is for nerds or this is for geeks. And, those are the labels we want to kind of do away with. And so maybe this is an opportunity to have those students, again, if you've got students who maybe traditionally fell into that kind of role, maybe giving them an opportunity to gain some confidence and show to others, hey, no, like this is for everybody. Like anyone can be a gamer and it's okay maybe to be a nerd or what might used to be thought of as a nerd. That's cool. Like gaming is cool. There's NBA players, you can do a quick Google search and find several NBA players who are gamers who are on regularly and gaming with the average person out there. And so it's not just for nerds, it's for anybody. I consider myself a gamer as well. Maybe I consider myself a nerd too, and that's okay. But I game regularly. I'm part of what I might call the Mario Brothers generation. Now that I have kids that are gaming age, I've gotten back into those gaming systems. And so that's just something you might run into and maybe a stereotype you can help bust. Too much screen time, I mean, that's a legitimate concern, but that's just kind of the way the world is going. And I think one of the big points here to bring up is this is an opportunity to teach responsible screen time. Teaching students don't learn to be responsible with something unless they're given the opportunity to do the thing. So helping them monitor the amount of time that they're spending on a screen. Taking value from the screen time. All screen time is not created equal. There's educational time, there's worthwhile time, collaborative time, and then there's time on screen that's less so. So if you really take advantage of the esports time on screen, you can look at it as a valuable use of time and one that they can also learn from. So teaching students how to take breaks, how to manage and monitor their biological needs and making sure they're taking care of those. So hopefully some of those, arguments and some of those points are things that you can bring up when you come across those myths and really just kind of pushing the benefits of an esports program. It's more than just, we're just going to press buttons all day. You can create this program and make it what you want it to be. You can build those opportunities for students to feel like they have a community. You can give them coaching, even if you're not an expert in the game or in the, in esports in general. You can coach them on what they need to know to work together with someone else. You can coach them on sportsmanship, being a good loser, being a good winner, right? Teach them how to manage their time. Just like any other sport or club, they've got to have good grades and they've got to be engaged and behaving well in school in order to participate. Having that SEL component where you're using this as a way to outreach to students and talk to them, and again, make them feel connected and part of a community. So there's a lot of benefits and a lot of things that when you think about any sport, and again, as someone who's coached athletics, all those same underlying reasons that we have athletic sports, that we want to teach character development, exist and can be taught through esports as well.
Also, too, to add there, the gaming industry does have a level of an addiction rate attached to it. That's not a myth. The amazing thing about creating an esports club or competitive team is that we as adults have the opportunity and platform to teach our students that balance, as Eric said. And I just wanted to hit that home again, is teaching that balance between getting outside, eating healthy, taking care of oneself while also being a gamer. So we're not staying up until wee hours of the night and losing that sleep because we just keep leveling up and keep going. And the platform for having those teams really does allow us to teach that to our students and teach those good behaviors. And just going back, which you don't have to move the slides there, Eric, but with that, the pillars, the 5 pillars, if you ever needed trivia, James O'Hagan is the person that created those and is a leader in connecting and promoting esports and is the leader. He's also, for trivia, considered the godfather of esports. So if you ever wanted to add that to a trivia game or add that to some of your fun curriculum for esports, I like to throw that in there. So I think, where are we next? We talked about benefits, and ultimately I had a colleague share this with me from Twitter. It was March 25th, so this was recently, and it was from a parent that shared this with a team leader for their esports program at their school. And ultimately for me, and like I said, with my background in counseling, that membership, that sense of belonging, and creating that platform and group for students to feel as though they belong to something is huge. And ultimately, this parents shared their thanks and appreciation and affirmation for this program and what it's done for their child in a positive way. The increase of academics, because having that the minimum grade requirements, just like any other sports, is there. So we see an increase of grades and school attendance, because with those minimum requirements, force kids to come to school and to participate and do well. So while they're participating in games, we see all these positive things also happening because of it. So